pretty much the setting of everything, with all the rocks particularly, it appears that virtually even the little tiny rocks, if you get it up close in a photo, they appear to be shaped like a dog or some other thing. So they did go to a lot of effort. Maybe it was a pride thing, pride in their work, and I sort of wonder whether or not they actually thought that it would actually be as believed by everyone, particularly the majority, great overwhelming majority, still believe that the moon landings happened the way they supposedly did, that NASA says they did. Whether or not they actually didn't think that it would go on as long, and then they could just use an excuse, we just took it as a big joke, putting all these things in possibly. And that's one of the things I mentioned previously, that that may have been in the back of the mind of Disney. Whether or not all the NASA sort of management knew, or Werner von Braun actually knew this. Maybe he wanted it. Maybe he asked for all this to be in there, possibly. And I've got the inkling when it is all tacitly acknowledged that the Apollo landings were all faked. Eventually, it's got to happen sometime. Then it would possibly, the reason why they've done this is that it would make a good study, anatomy, or the whole life of a hoax. How it develops, and why people believe things that sort of can be totally crazy. But as I say, anything is supposedly possible, but it's there's a lot of evidence here that shows otherwise. For myself, my motivation is the truth, to know what the reality is, that the problems that we're all facing for initially getting to other planets, the moon or whatever. I think most people want that, really. Now, as we can see in this here, Disneyland, Fantasyland, Storybook Land, Canal Boats, Fake Animal Rocks. This one in particular, what you have here is you've got the rocks with the eyes in them. Lots of little rocks with eyes and facial features on them. And go on from here, Apollo 15, Mickey Mouse head rocks. Okay, so off in the distance here. Now, that's one thing I will bring up another time, is perspective. They were very creative with the way that they actually made things look a lot bigger than they were. Because if you had an astronaut standing over here, what you would find is he's actually about that big. That's one thing I'll throw in now, is they actually took a lot of photos from very close to the ground. Virtually on the ground, like this thing here may not actually be the size that it's supposedly meant to be. It can be like 1/10 of the size of the sort of this device is normally meant to be. So they did use a lot of miniatures, I can point out there, and perspective to make the moon sets seem a lot more massive than they did. A lot of tricks obviously used, and it was the professional special effects people, and obviously the special. It was not necessarily something that NASA could have done directly on their own. Obviously, that's why they had to have Disney in with it, because of their professionalism in regards to movie making and creating these types of things. And obviously, if they had the budget for it, which no doubt would have been provided by NASA, and unfortunately the American taxpayer. Okay, so going on from here, we have Apollo 15. We've got little, as we saw earlier on, rocks. That's the thing about hidden Mickeys, is they don't necessarily have to be like that. The one in the house rock that has a resemblance of it. They can just be a few rocks put together. That they can. That's how they, like in Disneyland. Apparently, if you see rocks shaped like Mickey Mouse, then they say that is a hidden Mickey, or some other sort of cartoon character. And as you see, there's some little tiny ears, and there's a smile and two eyes. There's two eyes going that way, nose, mouth, ears sort of off to the side. There's the generic sort of Mickey Mouse look. And the ears, and the mousy sort of nose there, and you got tiny little ears on this one, and nose and that, yeah. Okay, Disneyland, Fantasyland, Storybook, Land, Canal, Boats, Fake Animal, Cartoon Character Rocks. As you got here, you got 2 little eyes, a nose, and a big smile there. 2 eyes here, eyes again, 2 eyes. And that's the sort of thing that you manage to see in these photos a lot. Okay, Apollo 15, face rock and middle. Now, like I was saying earlier on, is when they're obviously faking these things, if they wanted to do it for posterity about how creative they were about it, obviously I'd imagine that's what Disney done with these. If you have a look up here, the ear, it's sort of like the whole center of attention, this one here. And like you saw with these, you see with this. Little button eyes, what appears to be some sort of stick coming out of its mouth, or tongue within the scope of what the generic figure is. Yeah, that's Apollo 15 there. Now, Apollo 15 again, Winnie the Pooh and Friends. Now, I will point out again that this here, you may necessarily have the impression, or a lot of people may have the impression when they look at this, that, wow, that's a great distance off, and that looks like a big cliff, and that's a great big horizon. But then again, if you had the astronaut coming over here, you will find that he stands about that big next to it. It's all about perspective, and how they can make this look like a massive, vast area, when in reality it isn't. But they're very creative in how they done that and brought about those effects of creating vastness of distance. Alright, so what we have down here in the cliff face, I'll bring it up, Apollo 15, you've got Winnie the Pooh. Now, I'd imagine this small cliff face, I wouldn't imagine it to be sort of like really hard bedrock, as it were, softer bedrock, I'd imagine, that they'd put his face in, and you got over his friends, as it were, and I can't remember which his friend it was, but this one here, you got it in there, and slightly resembling other features of other ones that they haven't completely done in there yet, little bears and so on. And there you go, there's Winnie the Pooh and Friends, or the gang. That's one thing obviously Disney has put into these moon landings, themes related to a few of their movies, and you'll see a few of those just a little bit later on when I get around to them. Okay, so what we have here, Apollo 15 again, Winnie the Pooh and Friends, so that's 2 different lots here put into Apollo 15. Now you have Winnie the Pooh head rock right there, and in the background you've got a couple of his friends. And so we have a look back here, you see them, there's that one there and that one there. Can't remember their names, but I'm sure you recognise them. And we'll go on from there. There's Winnie the Pooh. It's very distinctive nose, eyes, and the shape of his general shape of his head and the ears. Of course, he's sitting out in the middle there amongst them all, virtually right in the centre, quite noticeable. So yeah, where the focus is going on in particular in that photo. Yeah, hidden in plain sight, as I said right at the very beginning of this video group. Okay, and here we go. There's Apollo 15. We have his